Well, greetings to you and a very happy new year. Although I fancy there's not much chance of it with the Muppets that we have in office at the moment. Now, I was musing yet again over the Christmas period. I was musing as old people do. And I was remembering back when I was very young, of course, in those days, but the Clement Attlee government, and I look back on that, although I don't remember much of it, even as an old fellow. But it was a government largely of spite. They ran the economy on sort of spite. Their taxation system and everything they did was about taking money from people and distributing it to other people, but not on the basis for economics, but on the basis of spite. And there's a local big house, there was a coal seam underneath it. And when they nationalised the coal industry after the war and many other industries, they were digging up gardens, beautiful gardens and lawns of some of the big houses of the estate owners, and the coal seams were going underneath. And we found out much later that it was a matter of spite. It was to spite people. And then, of course, we had in the 70s, the socialists came up with Dennis Healey as Chancellor. He was going to squeeze the rich until the pip squeaked. This is no way to run an economy. He hated the rich. Dennis Healey hated rich people. Well, he doesn't understand it. We all want to be rich. Everybody should be rich. In the old days, of course, that's how the American economy grew. Gone to pieces now, but it was the whole dream of the American was to be rich. Everybody wants to be rich. Who doesn't want to be rich? So we mustn't punish them. We want to encourage them, because if they're rich, usually they're wealth creators. Not always. Sometimes it's inherited, but that's neither here nor there. So being rich is good. It's not bad. And now we have a government that's come in. It doesn't like, in the same way that Joseph Stalin didn't like, smallholders and small farmers. So he's put a 5%, a 20% inheritance tax on small farmers, so they can't hand it down to the next generation. And of course, they'll be really happy when all the farms are run by Vanguard and BlackRock. Huge, great corporate farms which they can control, run by managers and not inherited by small families, which are the basis of the nation, as indeed small businesses are, one-man business and self-employed. They are the wealth creators of this country. Not the bugger at the town hall or Whitehall who create nothing, who produce nothing, who have their hand in the till permanently with their index-linked pensions and all the rest of it. And there's more of them growing and growing and growing in their hundreds of thousands every few years. And now more quangos with this lot. What happened to the last lot's bonfire of the quangos? And then we have idiot financial journalists like Martin Lewis, who says that inheritance tax, don't worry about it. You don't need to worry about it because not many people are going to pay it. Well, that's absolute nonsense. Any member of the middle classes who own their own house are going to be automatically bunged into inheritance tax. Their children are going to be bunged into inheritance tax because that is the threshold. That's broadly the threshold, because house prices bring you into that threshold. And that is money when you've paid your mortgage and you've earned your salary and all the rest of it that you've already paid tax on. It's theft. We live in a kleptocracy. And now we're going to put 20% VAT on school fees to people who are scrimping and saving, many of them, and missing out on holidays and not renewing the car to give the children the best education that they possibly can, because the state school is failing very often in most places so badly. They're being punished. It's vindictive. They hate the thought of people going to a private school, although the Prime Minister went to Reigate Grammar School when it was private. So he went there. All politicians, lots and lots of politicians seem to go to private schools and fee-paying schools and then get to hate them when they're in office. It was ever thus, especially with socialists. Anybody who fixes a tax system so that children have to be taken out of school mid-year with exams coming up and all the rest of it is fundamentally evil. It's fundamentally evil. And even the appalling European Union said you can't put VAT on educational matters. You can't. There's no educational system that it has in Europe which has any VAT put on it for that very reason. to keep the cost of education and everything in education, schools, books, educational matters of any sort without VAT, and they put it on without even bothering to find out if there are any state school places to put these children. It's about vindictive kleptocracy. That's what we're living in now. What's wrong with these people? They're fundamentally socially flawed, intellectually flawed. There's something wrong with people that want to punish people who are paying extra for their children's education. They're already paying into the tax system. They're already paying for their neighbours' children going to the state school, but they want to pay a bit, sacrifice a bit more and pay a bit more, and they're being punished. What's wrong with handing your small farm or medium-sized farm down to your son who wants to farm it instead of giving it to BlackRock or bloody Vanguard or any other bloody great international institution? It's fascism. Fascism is the banks and politicians and big business all getting together to screw the little guy. And that's what Starmer's all about. That's what Starmer's all about. This government, the Chancellor of the Exchequer. And the last lot weren't much better, were they? Let's be brutally frank, they weren't much better. I don't know where we're going to go with all this. The country's going down the bloody lavatory day by day with these dreadful people. Our enemy is our own government. And when they do collect all this tax, they send it abroad for warfare. They love their warfare, don't they? They do like their warfare. And this fake climate change business, all this fakery climate hoax. 10 billion, is it? Something going to Africa to build wind turbines. I don't know what it's all about, but I know it doesn't stay in this country. I don't like taxation. I think we can all spend our money better than the government. We can all spend the money in better interests of our families than the government can. But do we have great roads for all this taxation? No, we don't. Do we have a great education system? No, which is why people want to get out of it. What do we actually get for it? National health system? It's broken. The national health is a disgrace. It's not short of money, it's short of bloody management, sort of ideas. But it's a shambles, and I've said it before. So we pay all this tax, and all we do is get more civil servants, more people at Whitehall, more people at the town hall. I'm pissed off. Are you pissed off? I bet you are. As most of you know, my work is very heavily independently research-based, and I get my information from all over the world. It would help if you press the subscribe button and the little bell next to it, because the more subscribers I have, the more likely it is that international independent research institutes will share their material with me. It's most helpful, and then of course I automatically share it with you. So, surprise, won't cost you anything. Thank you very much.